everybody. It's Rieta and Elise here today for you. We decided that the ladies today will get a chance and we are going to talk to you about level one and evictions and how does it work now in level one and what can we do and what can't we do. And Elise has this amazing, wonderful tool, program, platform, I don't know, she's going to explain all of that, that deals and supports this whole process. So Elise, welcome, you're with us, with me today, Rieta obviously, and yeah, what can you tell us? I like jumping on stuff.
Afternoon, Rieta. It's always fantastic to speak to you, and thank you for the opportunity. So I'm the Managing Director of Expello, and Expello is an eviction management service. So we're not an insurance. So I love the fact that you said it's a tool to add on, because we sort of say we're really there to, we're a membership, a service, and that add on. What we do is, just to say a bit of background of Expello, I'm a qualified attorney. I argued evictions even in the High Court, which I loved. Putting on
that.
I loved it.
That's why we get you to do these.
And so we've seen quite a lot. And I also had the privilege of working with Bevan in Frost Peak, you know, also seeing it from the agent side. And this helps Expello to give their clients that, I say, the law and business comes together, because, you know, attorneys, they see law and they want one route, and business owners want another route. And to get the two to gel is, I think, is almost the magic that we have. And that's the part of the Expello service that we do. We sort of step in, owners can sit back and relax, and we really manage the whole process on behalf of our owners. Imagine that. You don't even have to sign court documents, anything. We do that for you.
Oh, wow. That is really, really awesome. And I think, you know, it's for me, working with you guys for quite some time, but the other day I spoke to a rental agent and, you know, she was talking about how they were struggling with tenants and so on over the last, especially during this COVID time. And I said to her, but do you know about it? How do you guys manage your evictions and all of that process? Do you know about Expello? And she didn't know. So I was like, okay, I can now educate you about something. You should be putting my rental on Expello just to safeguard yourself. You know, so I think it's a wonderful tool, and I'm glad we're finally having the session to kind of spread the word.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. You know, that's really our vision, to be there. We want people to take it out. If you're doing a rental, you should have Expello. It's not just because, you know, we look at the long run, you know, solve the problem. I mean, I am proud to say during this COVID period, we had a 90% success rate of getting tenants to pay up or move out without needing an eviction.
Wow.
I mean, so we saved our owners. It's not because we didn't want to proceed with the legal process, but, you know, legal process is tedious. It takes time. So yes, we pay the legal cost, we manage the attorneys, but there's certain things that we don't have any control over. So we really try and see if we can get them out, you solving the problem. If I may use this example, you know, agent goes and they find the tenant, says, have you paid? Please pay. When are you going to pay? You know, that's the questions they're asking. We take the approach and says, why are you not paying? Okay, yeah, but they've got to take a loan. That's lovely, but what's going to happen next month? You can't take a loan again next month. So, okay, can we help you to relocate? That is one of the things, and we take that time. And I think that is the big difference. We are an add-on for agencies. We're not a managing agent. So please don't everybody send me their stuff and say, please manage. I mean, rather go to Frost Peak, deal with the agency to manage this. We're there to take that extra step ahead.
Yeah, and tell the agency, do you know about this? Make use of that. You're still the owner. You can insist on that. All right, so cool. So tell us, what is this thing? How does it work? Where do we get it? Explain the process. I think let's start there.
So the easy thing is you can actually go to our website, and there's an online portal we have. So we know everybody, most of people are like me, you know, if on a Friday evening or late in the evenings, you want answers or you want to do something. So you go to our website, it's www.expello.co.za. And you'll note from the name behind me, there's no E before the X. It's only Expello, because many people say to me, I'm looking for Expello, we can't find them. It's because they're putting the E before the X. You go there, there's you say sign up, it's no obligation, no cost. So you can go register on our online portal for free. Go and register as an owner on our portal. It's free, like I said. You get registered and you get this whole dashboard. And what's on the dashboard is you can then actually apply and load up a property. Rita, please, and if you want to do a ghost one, use any names you want to. I'll pick it up immediately.
Okay.
We get notified on our side, and we actually have an hour turnaround during business days. I just want to say that. So if you load it tonight at 12, we're only going to process it in the morning.
Okay.
But usually within a half an hour, we accept or decline your application. And the nice thing, it's on there.
All right. So basically what you're saying is that if I am an owner or an agent, I've got a tenant and I want to now register them or get this Expello service, I can go onto this portal, register for free, and then there's what must I submit with that application on the portal?
So with new lease agreements, we'll need the lease agreement and the credit checks. Okay, so we don't do the vetting. You'll see if you load in the details, you're going to type in your details as the owner. And then, of course, the tenant's ID number, telephone number, and email address. And then I'm going to ask you, was vetting done? Now, that means that you see, you know, the ID book, is that the person that you're speaking with? Is it not a falsified ID? That you look at the bank statements, can this person afford it? Now, if you do a TPN credit check, which is quite fine, you can then just say whether it's an A or a B. Automatically, you'll see it gives a drop down and say, was vetting done? Yes. What was the rating that you got? A and a B, you're purely safe and we process your application.
How do I as a, because now I'm talking not to agents, but me as a private landlord, where do I do this vetting? You said on TPN, right?
Yeah, TPN.
And am I allowed to just put anybody on there, or what's the process to get the vetting done?
So that's a very good question. And I think many people should really realize this is a TPN, you can do a once-off thing. So you can register and you can go buy the credit check. You have to have the consent of the tenant. So you must ask the tenant, can I do a credit check to see if you qualify?
Writing, preferably.
Have it in writing, yes. So you're going to say, they confirm, yes, you may proceed to do a credit check. You do the credit check on TPN, you pay a once-off fee. You don't have to do the membership. If you do a lot of credit checks, maybe a membership will make sense. Then what you do is you get the credit report. But now for a couple of cool tips, if you do your own vetting. Ask for the bank statements, you're entitled to it, okay? And then read the bank statements. The bank statements is like a story. Né? You're going to make sure if they deduct the 5,000 Rand and the 2,000 Rand, does the totals actually amount to what it is? If you have a property that is surrounded by old people, you're not going to put a tenant in there that's got on his bank statement, Lollipop Lounge, liquor store, you know, that type of stuff, because that's a party animal. Okay, you can.
What is Lollipop Lounge?
I hear that's where they take executives to entertain them.
Okay, don't Google this, people. Do not Google it.
That is things that we see. And so you need to know what to expect. Same thing, if you have a vibrant young people and you see somebody that's got a lot of medical stuff accounts, you know this is maybe a sickly person, they're not going to like noise. So you're going to have complaints the whole time. So read your bank statements and then please phone the people's employment. So if they, especially if they're self-employed and they say they do import and export, please make sure that the business actually exists. Do they have an actual business address? Because what I've seen in the past, you know, if people just want to create a business, they say import and export, and you never know, they don't export or import anything.
Really?
Who knows how they get the money? So it's small things like that just to really go check. Ask for 3 months pay slips. Check if the dates on the pay slip actually change. Okay? Because believe it or not, Rita, you can pay 3,500 Rand and you can get bank statements with a bank stamp on it, which belongs to somebody else.
Wow.
So fraudulent papers is really serious. So that's the type of things that you can do. But remember, you can always get an agent to do the vetting for you, and you just pay them a lower fee if you
just to make sure that you
yeah.
do it properly. Yeah. If you're scared you're going to make a mistake. All right, cool. So what is the best grade that you can get out of that?
A.
And you guys will just say, we love A people, bring them.
Yeah, so we A and B we will take. We're going to just run against our database, because believe it or not, credit checks don't show if you've been evicted before. So we run it against our database to see if we have any records that this person has been evicted. We do consider C, D, and E. Okay, but we need a.
Sorry, yes. Elise, I'm just thinking that whole evicted story. So is this for everybody or just people that you've worked with? So or is there a record of everybody that's ever been evicted?
Okay, so there is no proper record basis at this stage. Okay. So we are the first company that's building that database, because the only thing that happens is if an eviction is granted, there's a court order to that effect. But that court order doesn't get noted anywhere. So it's a bit difficult at this stage because it's not a money judgment and it doesn't affect your personal status. So nobody is recording that. So we are busy building that database.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. I'm worried. Don't get yourself evicted. Okay, cool.
But the thing is, we have seen people with A rating credit checks, and then they've been evicted twice. Wow. But nobody picks it up, because remember, if you phone your current landlord, what are they going to say? Oh, beautiful person, ne?
I just want him to move.
Yeah, take him, ne? And if you phone again after you've taken it, they go, sorry, I had to lie, but I wanted to get rid of him. Yeah. That's the truth.
And there's nothing you can do about that person lying about it anyway. Yeah. All right, cool. So next step.
Yeah. So you complete
A and B you take, C, yes. D, not so much.
So yes, we do take them. So for example, if you're under debt review and you have a debt counselor letter to say that you can afford it, we will accept it. So we're then going to ask you for a bit of a motivation. We want confirmation that the person can afford it, and there's nothing that you can find to show that he's a risk of squatting. Okay, so if you know that all the landlords said they had difficulties evicting him, no, we're not going to accept him. Ne? If during COVID they had bad payments during the COVID period because they didn't get full salary, but they are moving, for example, from a 20,000 Rand rental to a 5,000 Rand rental, we accept it because that's a responsible tenant. So we really want motivation as to why, why we should accept it. Then you press save. You get an opportunity to upload the lease agreement and the credit checks, and if there's any additional documents.
Do you upload it to be a certain type of lease agreement, or can I create my own lease agreement? Can I write it on a piece of paper?
So ideally, we work with any lease agreement. Ideally, please don't do your own one if you're not sure. Especially for M5 varsity members and everyone there, Expel is going to give out a lease agreement. But there's lease agreements in the market available. So rather use one, but don't go Google it and then download an American one, okay? So because that's not going to help you. So make sure you use a South African one. If they're talking about squatting in a lease agreement, it's not a South African thing. Believe it or not, you don't get such a thing as squatter rights in South Africa.
Wow, okay.
Interesting.
All right, yeah.
So you upload it, you can have it there. So firstly, it's Poppy Safe. And now you have an awesome place where
Poppy?
You can
what is Poppy? Wait.
Poppy.
Safe. Yeah.
Poppy Safe is the prevention, it's the Information Act. Now I can't think of the whole act. That's the act that to say that we have to keep your information safe. You can't share it with anyone out there. Okay. Our servers is kept in the right countries, authorized by all of the acts and the legislation. And so you have a safe place to keep your data of your tenant and your lease agreement.
All right, awesome, cool. Now we've learned that as well, a new word. Cool. So if you have a lease agreement somewhere lying under your bed, you might not be Poppy compliant. So
Well, the thing is, you just keep it safe because you don't want to save information of other people. Or so you mean you put maybe details somewhere, and if the next moment somebody shares it accidentally, you don't want that. You can get into trouble.
Yeah.
So what the data you put on our database, only you and us can see it, and our people, deal with it as securely as possible.
Awesome. So now I click the save button. I've uploaded what? My lease agreement, my what else?
Credit checks.
Credit checks.
For,
okay.
Yeah, for new lease agreements. And just to say, we actually consider existing leases as well. Instead of the credit checks, we just need a rental statement to show that the tenant has been paying their rent for the past 4 months.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So 4 months. All right, cool. Then what happens?
So then it goes like a little red flicker on your dashboard saying it's waiting approval. And we get the notification on our side, we process it, and the next moment you'll see it's on active lease agreements on your side. If you open it, then you can download a welcome letter saying, welcome, you've been approved. This is the steps you can look at. And so you have proof that it will be active. Now, that is the putting everything in motion part. I think the more exciting part of our portal is still to come.
Now what? Oh, wow. Okay.
So the nice thing is, if everything runs smoothly, the problem, you need backup or you need information the moment something goes wrong. So say, for example, your tenant moves out after 2 months. We're not a gym contract. You purely go into the portal, you go cancel, we acknowledge it, and we cancel your subscription. Okay? No penalty fees. I'm not going to interrogate you or force you or anything. We're purely going to cancel it on our side.
Okay.
If your tenant is in breach, this is not even awesome. You go and you're going to say it's in breach, and we guide you through the steps. We're going to ask you, have you sent a letter of demand? And you're also welcome to ask us what is the guidance regarding a letter of demand if you don't have one. And we will then, if we see they don't pay, because stats has shown tenants usually pay within 7 days of receiving a letter of demand. If they don't, you then don't have to phone them anything. We take control of the whole matter. And there's a block where we give you all your real life information. So you get feedback the whole time at what is happening with your matter. And we upload everything.
So basically, from the time that you do the letter of demand, after that, you guys take over?
Yes.
Okay. And when do you send the letter of demand?
Well, ideally, not longer than 3 days after the rent was due.
Okay. All right. All right. Sure. That's very close. I've paid my rent longer than 3 months, 3 days later. Don't do that.
The thing is, you get to know your tenants. I say to people, even you can leave it to the 5th or the 7th, but you don't want to leave it too long because most of your lease agreements aren't on a month to month. If it's on a fixed term, you have to give them 20 business days to pay. And that is going to push you over till the next month. And then what starts to happen is they pay in arrears instead of in advance.
Yeah, true. That's the problem. All right. What else was there? Oh, the pricing. So tell us the pricing.
So the nice thing is, if I evict somebody from a 20,000 Rand rental, or if I evict somebody from a 2,000 Rand rental, it's going to be exactly the same process, exactly the same cost. Okay. So what we have done is we said we're not going to work on a percentage. We have a fixed fee of 185 Rand per month. That is it.
Okay. So
185 Rand.
And I mean to kind of then, well, but I suppose it doesn't really matter in terms of the court in your time, whether you're evicting somebody from a 2,000 Rand flat or a 20,000 Rand house. Your effort and your time is the same that it's going to take to evict these guys anyway.
Yes, and the nice thing is we go to the court where we get our eviction order the quickest. So it doesn't matter to you whether I go high court or magistrates court. I see, for example, in the Randburg area, the magistrates court works very well. If it falls under the Johannesburg area, the high court works much better. Okay. So I pick the courts where I ask my local attorney, says we are nationwide, and I make a point of it to work with attorneys that's local. So I'll ask them always a couple of questions, 3 questions, interviewing them to make sure they know what they're doing, and then which courts are we going to get our orders the quickest, because that's the most important thing. We want a vacant property. That's the whole goal.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, awesome. And then, so okay, so obviously you guys don't do the whole rental insurance part, but have you kind of have worked with people around that, right?
Yes.
So
So
I know this is not your thing, but I think it would be beneficial for people to know that there is something like that, and who does that typically.
So I have to say, especially during this COVID period, you know, it had a big influence on the rental guarantees that's out there. Also, a rental
Mm.
guarantee, they only take the cream of the crop and they work on a percentage of the monthly rental. So
Wow.
what I say to people is, with the rental guarantee, yes, you might get your money, but an eviction isn't top priority, and the evictions are capped usually at 50,000 rand. So if we step in and we start our processes also in the beginning, where they usually wait until after the 20 days,
Mm.
we are more preventative. So at most, you shouldn't be out of pocket. You can use the rent, the deposit as your 1 month of rent that you lost, but you shouldn't be out of pocket more than 1 month. Where if you get a rental guarantee, maybe for 2 months, and your eviction is going to take 6 months, you're still going to be out of pocket and it costs you more. And there's a cap. So
Yeah.
I usually say it depends on what is your focus. I mean, on your rentals below 8, if you have to pay 6% every month of that over and above your management fee, that's a large amount of money for
Mm.
your tenants. And I have to be honest, I'm quite curious to see, I can't dictate, but I mean, to see these days, most of the people have, because they took payment holidays, their credit records have been negatively affected. So at this stage, nobody's going to qualify for a guarantee.
True, true. That's also very
So,
interesting.
so
Yeah.
have a look at that. They are taking it, but they're just not approving it. And you can't really afford without being somebody there to back up and be ready. For example, we don't even have a waiting period. I had people that signed up and the first payment the tenant didn't make it, and we stepped in immediately. So
For
no question.
existing leases, people that have existing leases, what? Because I think we kind of spoke about new
So
rentals, right? So existing ones.
we'll need the the rental statement. So just to clarify, because I ask many owners sometimes for a rental statement and then they send me their bank statements. No, a rental statement shows the rental that's charged, the utilities, and then what was paid, and then the balance brought forward. So you want to see
Okay.
the whole history, because people have to remember, I usually laugh and say, magistrates and judges don't want to have it difficult. It must make sense, it must be easy and readable. We take that for the past 4 months and we see if the tenant has been making payment. So if they had an arrangement and they only paid half, and the tenant and the agent or whoever confirms there's an arrangement and the people are paying their arrangement now and they started paying full again, we will accept it.
Okay.
It's the people that made arrangements and not keeping to the arrangements or didn't even bother to contact their landlords. You know, they did the ostrich thing, kept quiet and didn't speak to anyone, and now they're in arrears. Those ones will not qualify.
All right. So obviously if I have then a tenant that is in arrears right now, they're not paying whatever, and I need just a normal eviction, not on your normal platform with the monthly fees. Do you guys do that sort of thing as well,
No.
or not?
So what we can is you're welcome to contact us. Let's see if there's a way that we can assist. If we can't, we'll refer them to the attorneys and we'll squeeze their arm for a discount. So even with our fees, I want to say we don't do the rental guarantee, but if you want to issue summons, our attorneys will actually give you 15% discount on any legal services you want. I had an owner the other day that's an Expello client, and he said, oh, I'm buying a property, but now I have to pay transfer fees, and these are the attorneys. I said, so good news. You can actually qualify for 15% discount. So you are saving 8,000 Rand.
Okay.
So, so that's an additional benefit we give our members, which I think is very valuable.
Yeah, definitely. All right. And then I think the last thing really is level 1. What can we do? What can't we do? Are we allowed to evict people? Because I've got a few that I wouldn't mind, getting the process going with.
So the good news is actually I was able to start an eviction in level 3 already. So that hasn't prevented. I think the big prevention and headache at this stage is the courts are very congested. Hi, Shame. The courts really try to go online. You know, they're struggling with the online business, and a lot of papers, you know, they work with a book and paper still issuing case numbers. So I think there's a big delay. And I think one of the warning signs at this stage is that if you start an eviction process now, you're looking at court dates in January.
What?
Yes. So keep that in mind. So don't waste. Don't be, I say, remember, as an owner, I know it's difficult. Then pay us not to be nice. We are there to protect you, because I know you're going to say, oh, shame, they haven't paid, they've got kids. Yes, but oh, shame you. You're going to feel the brunt if you're out of pocket for 2-3 months.
If you can't start paying your bond, the bank's not going to feel sorry for you.
Yeah, the bank has got even less feelings. At least we try to solve problems amicably. And if we start the legal process, it's really because those people are being difficult, unreasonable.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So court dates, because I think there's a lot of tenants out there that are literally saying, well, it's COVID and I don't have to move. I even have a person where she was saying that, we canceled the lease, and she's like, okay, you've canceled the lease, but I'm not going anywhere because it's COVID and I'm not allowed to move. And she's just not leaving. So what do you do in a case like that, where they just throw this COVID thing? You just go through a normal eviction process, or what is the process then?
I have to say, I even had to go for attorneys. I got a couple of attorneys that sent me letters saying you can't evict my client because it's COVID, you know, the regulations. And I attached their regulations and I referred to them to the specific paragraphs to say a court can grant an order. And the biggest thing was actually is when should it be executable? But with rentals, that's a different ball game than people that is a squatter camp that the municipality are evicting. And everybody is seeing in the news, and then they usually say, no, all evictions are going to be stopped because, you know, of this eviction by the red ants and all of that. Those are different types of evictions. This is not your normal rental where you are paid and it's an individual owner that owns a property.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Sure, Elise, you have given us a lot to think about. I will put your links, your contact details, the link to TPN, so people can do those credit checks. I'll put the links for Expello in there. And yeah, I mean, guys, Elise didn't pay me to say this, but and she doesn't actually know all of this yet, but we are busy moving most, if not all, of our agreements to Expello now. So yeah, it is a painful lesson to learn if you don't have them. So just do it. Save yourself the pain.
Yes,
thank you for your time.
And I just want to add one thing, because I truly believe in what M5 do and all the education. So all your owners, because we want to promote it, we'll give you a special promo link. And if they use that, they can get discounts. So they don't even have to pay $185. We'll take it down to $170.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll appreciate
that. It's a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.